It's time.
Time to meet the women who make a living around fast cars.
Hello, ladies.
This is Women Take the Wheel.
Sit down, strap in, and turn on all you've got.
Nikki Clark is taking you behind the scenes.
You're ready to win. Let me tell you, these cars, they get up and go pretty good.
Introducing you to women drivers, crew members, and fans of the racing world. Plus, Nikki is bringing you the latest racing news in Indiana and beyond.
We're going to bring it to you from the tower as they get ready to pull into the beam.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
All right, strap yourselves in.
Getting off the track and in your ears. This is Women Take the Wheel.
Come on, baby.
With your host,
Here we go.
Nikki Clark.
Hi, I'm Nikki Clark, your host for Women Take the Wheel here on the All Indiana Podcast Network. On this episode, I talk with Ellen Eschenbacher. She's the event marketing director of the Midwest Drag Racing Series. Well, her title's marketing director, but she does a lot more than that. Hear what it takes to put on this racing series and find out how her career racing actually started as a chef. Stay tuned.
Your day moves fast. Your news should too. That's why there's a new and improved Wish TV app bringing you more local news, breaking alerts, live streaming, weather forecasts, radar, and Indiana sports all in one place. Customize your news feed to see the stories that matter most to you and get the information you need when you need it. Download the new and improved Wish TV app today on iOS or Android and take News 8 with you everywhere.
Okay, welcome to Women Take the Wheel, and today with me I have Ellen Eschenbacher, all the way from Oklahoma. How you doing, Ellen?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I just adore you. I think we met at a PDR race, 4 years ago, maybe?
Probably when they were in Indy, yes.
Yes, I remember you guys. I'm like, oh my God, who is this lady? She's so cool. And you knew so much about pro mods. Like, you taught me so much about pro mods when I was there. But then I learned. You did. I mean, because that's
very nice. Thank you.
You know all about them. And you started, and I think that's when I found out that you work with Pedregon boys. But let's back up. And when did you first start in racing?
I have always loved drag racing. My dad watched drag racing. I was kind of a later in life child for my parents, so my brother and sister were nearly adults when I was born, and my brother loved drag racing, and my sister and her boyfriend at the time loved drag racing, and it was just something we always watched on TV. My favorite was watching Gary Ormsby. And I don't know why he was my favorite, but he was so nice when I met him at the races, and I've never forgotten that.
When did you meet Gary?
I do not remember. It was a long time ago. 30 years ago, maybe?
How could that be? We're both only 29. I don't know how that happened.
I know. I was just an infant, though, so, the memory's kind of fuzzy.
So you love the races, so then how did you get into it?
Well, I was living in Atlanta, and I was a chef for a catering company, and I cooked for private school kids, and I was lucky enough to have a shift that I worked 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got off mid-afternoon, and there was a local race series called Orska that was big in the Southeast, and I just started going to the races with the guy I was dating, and I guess I showed enough interest that they wanted me to help, and I ended up running the staging lanes and helping with points and things like that, and then I realized how much I loved it and how much being a chef that was basically nights and weekends and stuff like that did not work with drag racing, and I just kind of took a leap. I met Dave Hance, who had a pro mod, and he invited me to help with his team, and I raced with him for a couple of years, and that was kind of the beginning of me doing it on my own.
Nice. And then after that, is that when, like I said, I know you from Pedregon days, is that when you moved over and started working for Cruz then?
Yes, I actually moved to Brownsburg with the man I was dating and responded to a Craigslist ad of all things.
Are you kidding
that Andrea Pedregon had posted looking for someone to do hospitality and sponsor stuff with Tony Pedregon, and I ended up working for him full-time for 3 years and traveled to all the races and kind of got to know the NHRA people more of it, and that job kind of ended. I left the year before Tony stopped driving, and just kind of did some other things, opened my own media business, E3 Extreme, and went around to do races. I ended up doing, probably 40 races a year for a couple years.
Oh my gosh, you were never home.
I was never home. I was in a different city every weekend, and, people thought, especially because I always like to post things on social media, people thought that I had the most, glamorous life. They didn't realize that when you go drag racing, you typically see the hotel bed and the shower and whatever drive-through is open at midnight.
Yep, pretty much. Yep, that's what people, like total misunderstanding about what you go home after the track and you work. It's not a party.
Right. Oh, you went to Vegas. What did you see? I said, well, I assume Vegas was there. I didn't see anything other than the racetrack. But yes, I know downtown Vegas was there.
Yeah, but
I loved it, and I kept doing it, and was able to run my own business with Damon, and Damon actually has taken over most of the day-to-day stuff with the business. When I had the opportunity to come to Tulsa and work with Keith Haney in the Midwest, then the Midwest Pro Mod Series.
Okay, and that's what I want to talk about right now, because I kind of didn't, talk about that at the beginning, but you do so much for this series. So tell me about the series and everything that goes into it and that you have to do. To me, it's like, oh my God, she runs that thing.
It is. I thought the years after I had been in drag racing for a few years, I thought, man, it would be so great to put on a race someday. And then I started working with Keith in the series, and basically we put on 8 races a year, and it is way harder than you think. We are a small series. When I came full-time, we were really only 2 classes and then 4 classes, and now we have 7.
Oh, wow.
It's huge. I am the only full-time employee. Keith owns 8 or 9 car dealerships. He runs the series. He's engaged. He has kids. He's so busy. So I have taken a lot of the day-to-day stuff, and there's just so much paperwork and documentation and setting things up for the race and contracts and sponsors and media and stuff. It's a lot, but it is so much fun because you see every aspect of how racing goes on, and it's just a great experience.
Tell us, the series, the title, and for some people who have never heard of you guys, I don't know how that's possible, but tell me about the series and the classes that you do have right now.
We were the Midwest Pro Mod Series, and then last summer we added Alcohol Funny Car, so we changed the name of the series to Midwest Drag Racing Series to more incorporate what we kind of do. We just do 8th Mile, and we have Pro Mod Funny Car, Top Sportsman, Top Dragster. We have 2 junior drag racing classes, and then an Outlaw No Time that we just started our first race of the year last week. So we just basically do the Midwest, Texas, Oklahoma, Martin, Michigan, and we come to tracks that are already having events with our 7 classes and bring in an additional part of the show for them. So we aren't a standalone as per se like an NHRA is. We come in to an already existing event in most cases.
And so we're talking about too, you are the only full-time employee. So when people say, oh, let's, why isn't NHRA or somebody just like have a race this weekend? There's so much more that goes into it because you got to secure the track. You have to get everything, the license. So you have to deal with all that stuff too, or do you just for licensing, do you just say you have to have NHRA license, or do you have a different way of getting drivers in?
We do. We require an NHRA license, and I keep up with, we check prior to as the people come into the race if their license is valid, and, when they go through tech and things like that. And I even do things like help create the scale sheets and now partly working with MAV TV that we just partnered with us for our first race a couple weeks ago. And there's, the production aspect of how you produce a TV show into a race and the timing of things and where they run cables. And there's just so many things that I seem to learn every race. But yes, back to the thing, we do require NHRA licenses and full tech inspections and everything, and, make them just as legal and as safe as anything else.
Well, yeah, and you're getting back to it too. I'm so proud of you guys that you do have MAV TV. Is that going to be like a weekly thing, or is it just going to be they air like a month after the race? How soon after the race can people see the race on TV?
We do not have an air date for the first race yet. MAV TV is transitioning from their Lucas Oil streaming platform to their MAV TV. They did, as Lucas Oil, they do, as you know, a ton of dirt racing events. They just did the Chili Bowl here in Tulsa, and they are streaming all of our events online, and then they are doing a TV show for production to air on TV with Jack Beckman and Dave Reef as the hosts.
Oh,
so
yes.
We were so excited about it. We haven't obviously seen the finished product yet because the race was just a week ago. But I'm told that the race will air in a few months. I don't have a date yet.
That is awesome, though. I must have been under a tree. I didn't hear about Jack and Dave. People are going to be so happy to hear that because if you've met Jack Beckman, you love him. Mm-hmm. And same with Reef. It's been so long since we've heard him at a race. So, That is great to hear. I can't wait to watch that.
When we had a phone call with them a couple weeks ago, it was just amazing thinking, Jack Beckman just had a great career driving, and he does these elevator repairs and runs his business like that. And, he was busy doing that, but he steps away to do, this broadcast with us and stuff. And it's just incredible that he has had such a life in drag racing, and Dave Reef such a life announcing. And for them to be part of this with us is great.
Oh, that is huge news. I'm so excited for you guys.
Thank you. We have to get you to a race sometime.
I know. There's so many things going on, because I try to make it to NHRA races. I know my next will be Charlotte. And I know I always ask you, I'm like, there's pro mods. Are you going to be there, Ellen? Are you going to be there?
Well, and now when I say it's so hard for me, when I was used to doing 40 races a year and people are like, well, geez, you're doing 8 now. It's not very hard. Yes, but it is 8 completely reinventing the wheel every single event, and it keeps me so busy that it's hard for me to go to other races. And it's super hard for me to go to other races and enjoy it because now I want to figure out how I can help run them better.
Yeah, and when you were, before when you were doing the 40 races, you're doing your like photography and PR and stuff like that, where this, you're doing everything.
Yes. And people, one of my favorite things that I've done for years is the Facebook Live from the races and stuff. And now people ask me all the time, well, you don't do Facebook Live anymore. And I said, because I have a radio in my ear, and every time I go live, somebody's asking me for something, and I end up having to hand off something because I can't walk around and tell you what's going on with racing because I'm a million different directions.
Yeah, and that is the thing about Ellen too. If you've ever watched is her Facebook Lives, I know you've gone to pro mod and testing and stuff like that, and I'll be like, "Oh, great, Ellen's on! I can watch. I know what's going on." I'm like, and I can, "Hi, Ellen, Snicky," and you get a little shout out on the air. But you tell everybody the times and stuff like that when you don't get that coverage at testing. If Ellen's there, you're getting everything that you need if she is there, and she'll commentate everything. So yeah, when are you going to be in the booth and commentate the race then?
I think I would be lost if you locked me in the booth and wouldn't let me wander around. I don't know what I would do if I was locked in a specific spot and couldn't, do other things.
Oh my! I know. I feel. I got your feeling too. It's like I can't just stay up in the media center. I got to go down, walk around, see what my guys are doing. I need my camera there. Mm-hmm. So I love that. So you go from chef to getting in the drag racing, but you always been a drag racing fan. When you went and did E3 Extreme, how did you come up with that? Did you just say, you know what, I'm going to do this on my own? I mean, how did you come up with the concept?
I knew I wanted to be at the races. And I wanted to do photography, but I guess I'm to the point where I felt like standing out 100 feet out for me personally as a photographer, getting the same wheelie shot or something like that, that was boring to me. I couldn't interact with racers. I mean, you can tell I like to talk. I couldn't interact with the racers. I couldn't see how people were doing, and it bothered me. It bothered me to not have my own thing, and that's kind of where the Facebook Live came in. Back when we didn't have Facebook and we had message boards, and I was always on the Yellow Bullet message board, or I would always try to take videos or post times and stuff because I felt so bad for the moms and the wives and the kids that were home, that their husbands or whatever was out racing and they couldn't spend time with them or didn't even know how they were doing. And that was kind of where my interest became more and more, was I wanted to bring it to the people who couldn't get it as much. You know, a mom with 2 kids at home couldn't watch an 8-hour live feed to see when her husband was going to run.
Yeah.
She wanted to turn it on and see him run and go back to the kids. And that was really important to me, was to bring that particular aspect to it. And that's kind of how I did more with E3. Damon did more of the photography and I did more of the interacting and posting qualifying sheets and stuff like that.
Well, and see, and that's what I love about you too, is because I knew if you were at an event, I was going to get the latest up to dates. I was going to get good pictures. And still now, even though you're not, you know, you're with the One Series technically, if anything happens like any racing, I know that you will have the latest. Like if there's a crash or somebody gets injured, you're the first one to know about and to post, you know, our prayers are going out this person. Here's what happened. I know that you're like the legit news source. You know everything.
Thank you. And again, I try very, very hard not to post anything that I'm not 100% sure is true.
You see, and that's
especially with things that go on in racing. And we've all been through situations where there's been people that have been critically injured, and you know, stuff comes out or stuff doesn't come out. And I've always, one of my things when I did so much Facebook Live was if somebody crashed, I always wanted to go over and take a picture of them, not their car, because I don't really care about what happened to their car. But again, if mom sitting at home could see a picture of her husband that he was okay, they would be more likely to believe that.
Yes.
Than, you know, the carnage. And I want people to trust me, you know, trust that what I, you know, that my stuff is pretty accurate, and you know, things like that. That's just very important to me.
And it shows. Like I said, you are my trusted news source. You are. If it's come from Ellen, I know that it's good. I know it's legit. So let's have a little fun now. Since you've done it all and you've been all over, what is your favorite classic car? What's Ellen's favorite classic car that she enjoys the most?
I really love the Pro Mods. I've done radial stuff too, but the Pro Mod guys, and then just in the last year now that I've gotten to know the Alcohol Funny Car guys, people really do stick together. And it doesn't matter if you're Sean Bellemere and you're, you know, a 2-time NHRA world champion. You know what? He has become somebody that I can call and ask advice to if I have questions on stuff. And I think that's why I like the Pro Mod and the Funny Car guys so much, is they're approachable, and most of them have full-time jobs and are real people. They're not just race car drivers for a living.
Yep, exactly. And that's the thing too, is I've worked with both Pro Mod and Alcohol Funny Car, of course, very close in the Funny Car class. And I just love them. And Alcohol, I just had this conversation with Jackie about how tight they are as racers and as family. And it's my quick Sean Bellemere story is I just adore Sean also. But what people don't know is he's sponsored by Husky Gaskets. Well, my family's Clark Copperhead Gaskets. And so it's competing. And when he won the U.S. Nats, he's like, Nikki, come out to dinner with us. And I'm like, am I allowed to? I'm like, Mom, just so you know, I know it's Husky guys, but I'm going out to dinner with them to celebrate. Is that cool? But we're all family there. You know, I'm family with everybody over there. So I just adore them. So, so your favorite?
I call them the Nikki Copper Gaskets too, just so you know, when I see them, and I make a joke about Husky and about Clark and stuff. I call them the Nikki copper gaskets.
Well, you tell Mom and that. Maybe we'll rename them sometime. Mom, Dad, we have a new invention. We're just going to rename them Nikki. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, get me pictures and send them so we can post them on the Clark page. My family loves it. I try to get it as much as I can, but all the help is helpful. Okay, and is there, like, what's your most memorable moment at a racetrack? Like, or is there a most memorable race?
Oh, geez. I love some of the memories from Englishtown when I worked with Dave Hansen. We had Shakedown at E-Town, and I think it's almost sad that we saw how much history Englishtown had and the memories after it was closed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I guess I hope that that we continue to have more memories like that. I prefer, the one-off races. I think I like the most the shakedowns, the special races that NHRA does with, the bike challenge and things like that. I like that kind of stuff the most, probably.
I miss having the shootouts. I tell you what, Indy is just not the same without the Big Bud shootout to age me or the Traxxas shootout. I'm just like, well, you took all the fun out of that.
I know.
And that was a big deal.
Drawing the lottery balls for the Traxxas shootout, the last person. I mean, that was fun.
Oh, yeah. I was there all the time down here in Indy and over on the circle. And like I said, I remember the year that Clay made it and then like when Terry made it. And it's just so emotional. And the whole having to do the whole campaign to try to get them votes. Yeah, ask Jeff Rand about that sometime when he broke his foot in Brainerd. And I'm like, no, I put too much work into this.
It's funny because I remember trying to convince Tony, and the campaign title should be something like "It just takes one ball to win the lottery," and he's like, "We can't call the campaign that."
Why not? Oh, I love that. That's great. That's actually really genius. People would have loved that. Now I was going to ask you if you have a favorite driver. Do you, or is that too biased to ask?
Oh, it's hard. It's really hard too, working for 30 days a month behind the scenes of the series, and Keith Haney actually racing too. I mean, he our very last race, he gets in the car and he gets it up on two wheels and almost flips it over, and I just that was the moment that I became the concerned friend. You got to run down and check them and make sure they're okay. And so I guess somewhere in life he is one of my favorites. Gosh, I have so many favorites. It's hard. It's very hard. Stevie, because I've known Stevie for probably 15 years and seen the Stevie before NHRA Stevie, I think is a reason that I like him so much.
To clarify, Stevie Fast, right?
Stevie Fast, yes.
Just in case there's people out there aren't.
Stevie Fast on radial tires with a Pro Charger.
Oh my gosh, I've met him and he just cracks me up every time I see him. He's just so funny. I'm just like, oh my God, you're crazy. But he's great. Okay, so now is the time where I ask, because this is all about women in motorsports and people like you who have great positions. What advice would you give to girls and women who are looking to get into the sport and looking to try to get into a position like yours? What advice would you give them?
To just go to the races as much as you can. And if there is somebody that you like that does something in the industry, send them a message, ask them for a phone number or an email, and see if you can spend time with them and shadow them or work with them. It's so important for everyone to take time to help other people. And, I'm in my mid-40s now, and I want this to continue. I want there to be a 20-year-old Ellen that wants to go out there and do this and learn about people and care about it. And I think that it's so important for every one of us to take time to teach somebody. If I half joke that I need an assistant so bad, I would love to be able to teach someone or train someone or just have somebody interested.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, internship, school credit. And that was my biggest advice too, is that internships, because being in the media industry, I mean, even for racing, get those media internships, and it makes a whole world of difference when you know how newspaper works, how you know how radio works, how you know how TV people work. That way you can communicate with them better. I just love that. So, Ellen, tell everybody where they can follow you on social media and where they can follow the Midwest Drag Racing Series.
You can follow Midwest Drag Racing Series, Midwest Drag Racing Series on Facebook or MidwestDragRacingSeries.com, or myself, Ellen Eschenbacher. Typically, if you follow racing and you type Ellen into Facebook, one of my match comes up fairly quickly.
That says a lot.
But you can always, drop me a message or find me on social media. E3Extreme.com. You could find the media company there that Damon is running day to day, but you can always track me down that way as well.
Well, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. And like I said, I just love, all the work that you've accomplished since I've met you. I mean, like I said, we're little PR people in the media center. I'm like, whoa, look at this now. She's run a whole drag racing series. So I appreciate you taking the time to be on the podcast today.
Thank you so much. That means the world to me. Thank you very much and hope to see you soon.
You will. Thanks so much, Ellen.
All right.
Thank you again for listening. I'm Nikki Clark, and this is Women Take the Wheel. Be sure to connect and follow on Facebook when you search for Women Take the Wheel podcast. And be sure to follow and subscribe to this podcast right now on the All Indiana Podcast Network.
From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is Women Take the Wheel with Nikki Clark. Follow and subscribe to this podcast now and discover even more great podcasts on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Online at allindianapodcastnetwork.com. allindianapodcastnetwork.com.